Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
So this Delta variant, it's spreading very rapidly. But if you're fully vaccinated, the chances of you getting really sick from this or ending up in the hospital are extremely low. And zero pretty much from dying from it. It's very simple. Get vaccinated. And by the way, if you had COVID, that I think plus one shot gives you a super immunity.
No way, super immunity? That sounds like something I'll take. I had COVID and I got 2 shots. You may be immortal. I don't know. It's possible. Probably not. But maybe from COVID. What about breakthrough cases? Try to figure that out. Because, they got the new breakthrough case that's coming. I don't know if you guys have heard about this. So first it was the UK variant? But we think it came from Scotland. And we'll talk about Scotland later. So you have the UK variant, and that was like, oh, geez, right? Like this. What is this? This UK variant. Could this be something that is deadly and evil? Maybe. I'm unaware of that. Then, from there, you had what variant? Well, you had because the original was Alpha. Because first it was the Wuhan virus. But you can't say that. It's like the worst thing you could say. Then it was the UK variant. Like, oh, you guys have no idea. There was a South African variant, but that wasn't really cool. People were like, South Africa, not really into that. Then you got this variant that's flying around here. You got the Delta, man. That thing's crazy. Now we got the Lambda variant. The Lambda. Yeah, kids, the Lambda. That's the one that's the new one. That's the one's coming from South America. It's the Lambda. Where do you see what the next one is?
Clap your hands, everybody, and everybody clap your hands. We Lambda, 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 and Omega Mu.
That'd be great. What does the Omega Mu one look like? It's just a big, giant, floating thing that you can see. It's big. It's hefty. Nutritional overachiever. Not very pretty. Great personality. Oh, my Lord. I can't believe we're still talking about this. If you'd have told us 18 months ago, what do you guys hear we're going to be talking about in 18 months? You're like, what? This? You're like, oh, this is awful. But here we are. So if you've had a shot and you've had COVID, you may have super immunity. That's awesome. People just want to know this. When do I have to take this damn thing again if I have to take it? And that's it. That's all I care about. I'm getting on with my life. But it's spreading. I was talking to my uncle last night. I said, Paul, we live in 2 worlds here. I said, we live in 2 worlds of denial. He goes, oh, okay. What do you think? I said, we have red state, blue state. Let's play red state, blue state. Red states, by and large, low vaccine rates, climbing, positivity for coronavirus, people living in denial. Blue states, high crime rates, especially in big cities, and people living in denial that it's happening or that it's a big deal. That's the world that we're living in right now. That's the politics of what we have. Here's the reality. Vaccines, they work. They do. But this one's brand new. I know. But still, they work. And we're going to have this problem for a while. Because as long as we are open for business, meaning people are coming here, most legally, some illegally, but as long as we have that, you're going to have different variants are going to get into our country. Because the world's not vaccinated. I mean, we could be at 100% vaccinated. And as long as there's a breakthrough, it's going to land here because people are coming here because they're not vaccinated. Only 11% of the world's vaccinated. Think about that. Ooh. Australia and New Zealand, they're able to close everything down because they're islands. We're not. We're not. So we've got the new scary thing, Lambda. Next up, the Omega Moos. The Omega Moos. 323-538-2423. At Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Tweet at us. Text the program. Love hearing from every single one of you. American life. Are we happy? Are we happy? I think we're happy. According to the latest Gallup poll, so this is thriving. Do you feel good? Are you thriving? Do you feel great? Are you thriving? Let's go back a ways. Let's go down 2008, right? People were feeling okay. Then, it fell apart. At that time, less than half of the people in America thought things were good. 46% of people. Obama gets in, jumps up to 51%. All of a sudden, while still president, Republican Party takes majority in the House, Senate, jumps up to 54%. Obama's reelected. It's at 51%. Government shuts down over Affordable Care Act. That's 50%. We're just dead even. Then it climbs up slowly but surely. Trump's inaugurated. 55% of people say, hey, we're thriving. We feel great. Everything's awesome. Everything's feeling great. Everything's flowing. But by December of last year, back down to 46.4%. Now we're at almost 60%. People feel America and their world is good. Through all the hell, through all the insanity, through all the craziness. And this is why I would continue to tell everybody, we live in the greatest time in the history of time, in the greatest place ever to be alive. Right now, this second. There's no better time in history than this second. Now this second. We're making leaps and bounds forward. We are jumping ahead on a daily basis. It's awesome. It truly is. Let's read a bunch of stories today, because again, if it bleeds, it leads. If it bleeds, it leads. Coronavirus was huge because it was a pandemic and it affected the world. But through all of that, we have, even when we were doing bad, and again, the reason we struggled so much was politics. That's what made us go south. But we are so far ahead of everybody else. And it is awesome to see. We have so many jobs available. Really, we have so many jobs available right now. You could write your own ticket. If you're looking for a gig, it's about you. That is awesome. And where we're going? Loving every second of it. Wake up and got a smile on my face. Well, how can it be, Chad? I'm not going to say, again, I don't do the hate radio thing. I just love the fact that we're kicking ass. We're taking names. We got vaccines aplenty. We're begging people to take it. It's great. It truly is. And it makes me smile because I see, the rest of the world. I got a friend over who's just, he's in Italy right now. And he's just like, yeah, it's for all the whining and moaning that we've done. You come to some of these other places and he's from here. He's like, it's different. I'm like, it is. It is super different in a lot of other places. We are so lucky. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Tweet at us. Text the program. Love hearing from all of you. Are you satisfied? New Gallup poll, 60% of people say they're satisfied, which is awesome. How many people do you know are miserable? Like, we do have first world problems, right? Like when you think about the first world problems that we have comparatively to even other Western countries, it's pretty awesome, right? Like, I spilt my coffee today, or, well, I don't drink coffee, but it's nuts. It really is. When we think about our problems, we have an obesity problem amongst our poor. That's where we are. Like, our poor eat so much crap. They're unhealthy. Yeah. Like, they're not doing a Live Aid for fat people. What would that even look like? Who opens for that? That'd be great. Like, I'm just trying to think. Who would you have for that? That's a good one. If you're going to do a Live Aid for fat people. Like a diabetes aid? That's not very nice, Chad. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Tweet at us, text the program, touch on Trump's lawsuit. Pretty much doomed. He's leading this suing everybody. Is that really going to work? No, I don't think. He should be on social media. The fact that he's not on social media is ridiculous. The fact that he's not on social media is stupid. Yeah, it's their business, but he can incite violence. You know what? Just enough. It's so stupid, but I don't think he has a chance of winning this. Talk a bit about that. Plus, that Haitian president that was assassinated, details are coming out that are just insane. Were they Spanish speakers? Is that a big giant lie? The more that I read about it, the more I thought, this guy seems to maybe have been involved with some people that weren't happy with him, that have nothing to do with political assassinations and potentially all to do with drug assassinations. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson shows your Twitter. My Pillow, Giza Dream Sheets. So it's long staple cotton, right? What do you have here? So you got this cotton. It's like really amazing, but it's only grown in one place, the Mediterranean area. It's got the Mediterranean Sea, Sahara Desert, the Nile. It's grown in this little area, and this cotton is incredible. It makes it ultra soft, ultra smooth. So when you slide on into the sheets, it's like, oh. Normally these things are super expensive. Right now you're getting a huge discount, plus you're going to get a second set for free. 60-day money-back guarantee, 1-year warranty, different colors, different sizes. Machine washable. Just go to mypillow.com. It's that simple, mypillow.com. Use the promo code Benson to get the Giza Dream Sheets. Buy one, get one free. Take advantage of this. They got great deep discounts on all of their products. mypillow.com, promo code Benson, or call 800-983-4975. Buy one, get a second set for free. Giza Dream Sheets. Chad Benson Show.
Being antisocial sucks. Hang with Chad's friends on Facebook, The Chad Benson Show. And if you just need some alone time, head on over to Twitter at Chad Benson Show. Either way, we can't wait to meet the real you.
Moise had been ruling by decree for more than a year and was facing calls to step down amid political turmoil and unrest, along with criticism of his handling of the pandemic in a country where not a single COVID vaccine has been distributed.
Yeah, that's not why he was killed. I think we should know that. By the way, the suspects. So supposedly they pretended to be something.
They are speaking Spanish and they presented themselves as DEA agents. And as we know, this is not the way DEA operates. And Haiti, whenever there is an operation, it's well planned with the U.S. Embassy, the Haitian police.
Yeah, DEA is usually not going to go out there and, kill the president of another country. Speaking Spanish. But there were several suspects, and there was a gun battle last night.
4 of the suspected assassins behind the slaying of Haitian President Jovenel Moise killed after taking multiple police officers hostage. 2 other suspects were taken into custody, and officials say all 3 of the officers being held were safely released.
Who are they? Well, I don't know. But what they are saying is very much a foreign mercenary, actual assassin, trained, we think it's funny because, we see the movies and we think, oh, it's, most of the time hitmen are, they're not hitmen. They're just guys who are criminals who are, they're not walking around and having Swiss bank accounts and wearing, black suits and, planning stuff out. Very few of those around. This seemed like a real operation. And I'm just thinking to myself, you never know what some of these third world leaders get themselves into and who and what they allow. Go and look not too far from where he was, Noriega. You just don't know what possibly could have happened. Some people say, could it be an actual rival of him? It's possible. Could it be that he got in over his head with some people from South America or somewhere else? When it comes to drugs, also a possibility. Whatever it was, though, he's dead. And a country that's already a hot mess, it's potential to get even nastier. And this affects us in a lot of ways because remember, right now, essentially, you get here from Haiti, you're going to have a chance to stay here. And in a situation where we have right now no true enforcement or control over our borders, you think Mexico in certain areas is bad. Guatemala, Honduras, El Salvador. Haiti's a whole new level of bad. And it's not too far from us. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Tweet at us, text the program. So if you guys don't know, the Olympics getting ready to start. They've declared a state of emergency. It's the Japanese prime minister talking about that. I had to translate. I hope you guys understand. Oh my God, we're so screwed. We're effing screwed. We're screwed. Oh, I can't. Oh my God. Oh, God, son of a. Sucks. I hope Godzilla shows up. It's kind of the way they feel. So they've declared a state of emergency, and the games are open. But it's interesting to see because the European Soccer Championship will finish this weekend. And yesterday, England played in the second semifinal. They beat Denmark 2-1 in extra time. It's great. I watched the game. It was awesome. There was only supposed to be 60,000 people at Wembley. I'm not great at counting in just a blink of an eye, but I do know there were no empty seats. So, and it holds 90. So you do the math. But comparatively, they held this a year after they were supposed to. Japan, also on an island, a year later, getting ready to hold the Olympics, they're going to have no fans, and they're in the midst of another outbreak. Let the games begin, for sure. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show's your Twitter. Tweet at us. We got a new Karen, and she may be the worst of all Karens. Chad Benson Show.
Chad Benson Show.
Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
The number of Americans filing for unemployment benefits for the first time last week was 373,000. That's a slight increase from the prior week. And while 1 week does not make a trend, economists are watching this metric closely for signs of health in the labor market. The number of jobs created last month was higher than expected, but there are still 14 million Americans who are unemployed compared to before the pandemic.
Yeah. Some of them, we talked yesterday about the great resignation. Some of it's by choice. They're looking for other things. There's plenty of jobs available. Plenty of jobs available. Good jobs available. Really? Are they good jobs? I don't know. Are they good jobs? I mean, honestly. Like, if you're out of work now and you're looking, you suck. I think it's the best way to describe you. It's not very nice, Chad. No, I'm just... Now if you've got a specific job, right? Like if you're a quarterback in the NFL and you're out of work and you've played, and that's one thing, right? But like if you're just a person who needs a gig and you can't find a job, I can't believe they won't hire me. It's like, you're not good. You're probably not even good at being a human at this point. It's like that's not very nice, Chad. Plenty of gigs available. That's why I say if you are looking for a gig, it gets no better than this moment right now. No better at all than this moment right now for you. Because you can go and essentially name your price. You can go right now and name your price as far as what you want to do. Even if you go into a place like you're going to go work at a McDonald's and they're desperate. The Burger King I go to, they're like willing, like what kind of hours do you want to work? What do you want to do? You want to be manager? What do you want to do? You can do it all. They're desperate for people. Well, that's not a fun job. I get it. But if you're looking for a gig right now, this is it. And even if you're a middle manager and you're looking for a job, there's plenty of jobs out there. You can name somewhat of your price. Maybe you want to work every other Friday off. You want a day to work from home. You want a hybrid model, right? You whatever it is, there's an opportunity for you right now. So take it. But a lot of people won't for whatever reason. I don't know. And again, I go back to, have you met most people? It's like, workers are treated so poorly. I'm like, yeah, sure. You met most people? Again, have you met most people? Most people are lucky to be employed anyway. It's not very nice. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show's your Twitter. Tweet at us, text the program. There's Karens everywhere, but we got a couple Karens today they're setting bars that are truly, truly, truly amazing. Truly, truly, truly amazing. Here's a Karen who decided that she's going to continue to steal this guy's mail because she's worried.
Yes, I am actually. In fact, yes,
You're taking my property.
Well, there's been a lot of comings and goings of UPS trucks in this neighborhood.
What about that?
A lot of packages coming to this house particular. Well, something's going on in there. Something's going on in there.
It's Amazon.
I'm taking the package.
It's my Amazon wish list.
I'm taking the package.
No, you're not taking my package. That's my stuff.
Excuse me. Excuse me. Hey. Ow! Oh my God! You killed me.
I did not kill you. You're
me.
fine.
Oh my God!
You sprayed me with whatever that stuff is.
She's fun. She felt like a soccer player that got kicked and rolls around for 10 minutes, and you're like, you didn't even get touched when you see the replay. That one, This one right here, to me, takes the cake. So, busy thoroughfare, highway, almost like a freeway on-rampy area. Ladies walking. There's a couple walking their dog. The dog's off a leash. You gotta be smart. Gotta put your dog on a leash. Come on, especially by a highway like this. She is not happy about that, so her whole goal is to lure the dog into traffic to get it killed.
Have you never heard of a leash in the city? Really? Really? Okay, we'll wait for the police to clear it up.
Karen, please, Karen, call them. Karen, get your phone now and call the police.
I'm just waiting for him to come by.
And which country should I go back to, Karen? Huh? Say it. Now you cat got your tongue?
Can I get my tongue?
Oh, yeah?
Really?
Yeah.
Edit it out. Go ahead, edit.
Edit what out?
Come on, puppy!
What about no?
Animal, I'm just passing by, and you're actually trying to instigate a dog to go into the middle of a highway? What kind of problem do you have, lady?
Yeah. She's got a big problem. And she tells him, because you don't see him, but he's Asian, I guess. And she's like, yeah, but your country, you guys don't have leashes for your dogs. And she's like, go back to your country. The usual thing that you would say. Which is awful. We expect this from this lady, right? Because she's Karen. But the fact that you're trying to also lure a dog into traffic to get it killed is absurd. What the blank is wrong with you, lady? I mean, honestly, what in God's name is wrong with you? Yes, you know what? You should have your dog on a leash, especially if you're by an area where there's cars like that and your dog could bolt out the street for whatever reason. They are still dogs. They're not the sharpest tools in the shed. But you should have your dog on a leash. Totally get that. But why don't we, every once in a great while, just go, that tweet's not very nice. I'm moving on. I don't really need to say something. My service here wasn't very good. I'm moving on. But some people, and as I was talking to producer Anthony, some people in life, they can't do that. Ever. They can't not say something. And whether it was this guy or somebody else, I guarantee you there is conflict with her almost on a daily basis. Now, does it rise to the level of trying to goad a dog into the street to get killed? Karen continues.
Serious, put it out there. Put it out there that you can walk around without your dog on a leash. You know what? Put it out there that you can insult someone of Asian descent, and then also try and instigate a dog to go in the middle of the street because you're on principle for whatever reason. Why don't you go back where you came from? Who are you? Leave these people alone. You don't put a leash in your country?
Oh, yeah? Which country is that? Bola, come here. Bola, come. Bola. Come here.
Great. You're lovely. Come on, puppy. Come. Please get out of the car.
You are.
Put it on all over the web, baby. Put it all over the web.
She's fun. I can't believe she's single. That is just, what a scummy human being. Just trying to lure some. This wasn't a pit bull, too. It was like a little Pomeranian-looking dog. Well, is it bad if it's a pit bull? Well, what if she was getting chased, right? Like, because, we're all going to. This wasn't one of those situations where this dog was angry and evil and chasing people down the street. And this lady's like, you need to get your kid on the leash. And they're fighting over something. And she's running. And the dog just chased me. And then I'll sacrifice for. No, she was just, I'll say it, she's a bitch. She's an awful person. You're an awful, awful human being. You are an awful, and if you were here, I would tell you how awful you are. I love my dogs. Right? You guys hear me talk about rough and stuff, but I love my dogs. Big time. And for all the lizards I have, for all my giant snakes, all the stuff, I still love my dogs. And if anything happened to my dogs, I'd be devastated. I'd be so upset. I'd be, and this is, oh, what an awful person. And you know what's sad, too? It's not sad, but let's be real. If she would have ran in the street trying to get the dog to go out there, and then the dog stopped and she got hit by a car, people go, nah, she deserved it. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Tweet at us, text the program. His name is Juvenile. You guys know who Juvenile is, right? You don't know? Juvenile had a big hit. Went back away. I think it was late 1990s, early 2000s. It was a big, he's had a bunch of them, but this one really put him on the map. Yeah, back that thing up. Which I think that gave us Lil Wayne, actually. I do. Well, there is BLK, which is a new dating site for black people. That's how they describe it. So, African Americans, black Americans, residents who are black from other countries, they're not getting vaccinated. If you look at the numbers, the struggle is real. Now, put that in the dating world, because in a lot of these things, right, whether it's Bumble or Tinder, a lot of them, like, having a vaccination is a big thing to a lot of people. Well, he has redone his song, and it's called Vax That Thing Up.
You finna online date chat, find a mate chat, open up BLK ass, okay yeah, profile picture looking tight chat, nice chat, got your bio reading right chat, precise chat, but before you find a date chat, you gotta wait chat, gotta go vaccinate chat, get it straight chat. Want you vax that thing up. You's a handsome young brother, want you vax that thing up. Dating real life, you need to vax that thing up. Feeling freaky all night, you need to vax that thing up. Girl, you look good, want you vax that thing up. You's a handsome young brother, want you vax that thing up. Dating real life, you need to vax that thing up. Feeling freaky all night, you need to vax that thing up. I know you can't.
Come on, it's kind of funny. Did you vax that thing up? You a fine young brother once you vax that thing up. Oh, my Lord. That is spectacular. That is. It's tough. You go and you look, and people of color not getting vaccinated. It's not. And that's not a good thing. It's not. And it's not because, it's just vaccine inequity. It's just they're choosing not to for whatever reason. And, I know Biden's like, we go to door, and we get all this. That isn't going to work. You're going to have to change the messaging in some way, shape, or form that makes them feel comfortable with why they should get vaccinated. Maybe the new thing should be like, hey, we're the United States government. And yeah, you know what? We at times have super sucked, especially for people of color. But this time, we're going to do better. Swear, this is not one of those like Lucy moves the football things. We have sucked before, but this time we're totally serious. And so you guys should totally get vaccinated, right? And it's like we're 100%. This is not a joke. We know you don't trust us. But that's going to be hard. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. And if you want to get the crazy right wing to do it, maybe you tell them, look, if you guys all get vaccinated, maybe we'll bring Trump back. Then you can Lucy the football with them. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Tweet at us. Raycon, best earbuds around. Love my Raycons. Yeah. You can listen to Juvenile backing that thing up in Raycons. They're awesome. Different styles. Yeah. So everybody's got a different ear. They have different gel tips that go in to fit perfectly for your ear. That's what makes them so much different than everybody else. The price point is incredible. Start well under $100. The style is amazing. The colors are awesome. The little box that you get, so you get this incredible like case that your earbuds go in, and that's actually a charging box. So you charge it up, and you get 4 full charges out of it without having to plug it back in, which is great. So when you're on the go, you don't have to worry about it. It's like, oh, I can charge my earbuds. But to me, the fit matters so much, especially for somebody who does audio all day, does a bunch of different stuff. The fit is incredible. And you're going to love these. They start well under $100. The E25s, E55s, get yours. Waterproof, 45-day happiness guarantee, and a 1-year warranty. And the warranty is, if something goes wrong, doesn't matter what it is, send them back in, no questions asked. Get a replacement pair. Buyraycon.com/Chad. Buy, B-U-I-R-A-Y-C-O, Raycon.com/Chad. Get an extra 15% off right now. Buyraycon.com/Chad for the best earbuds. No stems, no wires. Chad Benson Show.
Helen Keller is a Nazi terrorist that is a male. Is that what you're telling me right now?
Yeah.
Are you thinking of Hitler?
Who's Hitler?
Vaccines work, but only the Chad Benson Show is 100% effective against stupidity.
Do you know what D-Day is? D-Day.
A person? A rapper?
God, Karen, you are so stupid.
Check us out on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and wherever you find your favorite woke-free podcasts. This is the Chad Benson Show.
I love listening to that. People say, you still want critical race theory taught in schools. Well, you know what? If you think D-Day is a rapper and you think Adolf Hitler basically brought the world sign language, then you know what? At this point, I how about some basics? We'll go from there. Because you're not going to understand anything else. So let's start from there. That's where I want you to start from. We'll go once you get 2 + 2 is 4. And I know in today's world, theoretically, it could be different things, but because everybody wants to. But once we get to the point where then you're like, oh yeah, you know what? I realize Adolf Hitler was actually a Richard of the highest order and a scumbag who systematically murdered 6+ million Jews, not to mention gays and gypsies, started a world war that led to 50 million deaths. Once you realize that, and that D-Day was essentially the giant crescendo and towards the end of it, which pushed everything towards the Allies way. One of the greatest operations, if not the singular greatest operation in history, and not a rapper, then we can discuss some other stuff, right? Maybe you could learn how to spell.
The spelling The bee is back after taking its only break since World War II, and the spelling world is buzzing. A limited crowd, including First Lady Dr. Jill Biden, will watch in person at the ESPN Wide World of Sports complex in Orlando tonight as the 11 finalists vie to become CHAMPION.
Correct.
Yay!
Yep, Scripps National Spelling Bee is back. This is just, I love watching it because, well, let's be real, right? It's fun to watch kids, right, get tortured and crumble, like just lose their, oh my God. No, it's not very nice, Chad, but that's what happens. I would love it if they celebrated like pro soccer players, where like you answer the question and then you run around and you slide on your knees in front of the other competitors and you take your shirt off. And you oh, jeez. That would be awful. But I'm willing to listen to more of those ideas, Chad. 323-538-2423. At Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Tweet at us. Text the programs. The Chad Benson Show.
This is the Chad Benson Show. Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
What we're doing is local officials are going to areas where there are lower vaccination rates and providing information on where people can get access to a vaccine, where they can go, that it's free, that they can take time off of work. It's up to individuals to decide whether they want to get vaccinated or not.
Then why are you going to people's houses? By the way, that's not going to work. Is this the best bad idea? Yes, sir. This is the best bad idea we have. It's not working. I can guarantee you that. You walk up to places. You can walk up to people. Again, these are the same people as, you come in there. They're not doing the census. And they're sure in hell not going to go and welcome people with open arms when they already have a distrust for government. The funny thing of the whole, vaccine stuff, and so you've got, in particular, people of color, African American, black people who don't want to take the vaccine. Who's it disproportionately hurting right now? People of color. Right? It's not because they don't have access. They'll make it out like, oh, it's because they're victims and they don't have access. And they're not. But that right there, what do? They don't trust the government. They don't. And rightly so. There's a big reason for them not to trust the government. Who are the other people that aren't vaccinated? Mostly white people on the right. Little conspiracy theory here, little conspiracy theory there. What don't they do? They don't trust the government. So you're going to go into those neighborhoods, rural and inner city, who have the same cause in their mind of why they're not getting the vaccine, which is a distrust for government. And you're going to be like, hey, you vaccinated? What? Get off my property. I'm going to shoot you. Their dog Jethro chasing you down the street. I'd like to see it, though. Somebody's going to get shot. It's going to happen. It is. Mark my words. This is happening. Oh, Chad, you've little faith, my friend. Just being 100% honest. Both of them have the same distrust of government. One of them really has an understandable distrust in some ways. Now, granted, we're far past Tuskegee but still, it's understandable. The other one has all kinds of wackiness at times, but And you do have some people out there who's just like, look, I don't want to get it. I think my immune system's great, or I've already had it. And that's also something you got to take into account. People that have already had it. Because we're always thinking, well, all these people don't have vaccine. Well, no, some of them have natural immunity. They've already had it. But to walk up to people, go, hi there, how are you? Hi, and standing there with a syringe. Have you had a shot yet? You don't have to go to work. I'm already not at work. You can show up at office buildings? What are you going to be wearing? That's another thing. What are you going to be wearing? Well, I know that sounds weird, but you got to go to the people you can feel comfortable in certain things. How are you going to do this? I mean, if you want to get to some people and get them, you're going to have to come at them in a way that makes them feel comfortable. And that's one of the things I said, that we'll see the vaccine take off more and more. And we did when you put it in places where they could go talk to their doctor and, like not at a football stadium at 2 a.m, driving through a tent. This seems real. Seems really weird. But the minute you could get at Walgreens and CVS and other places, you started to get to a point where, all right, you know what? People feel comfortable, right? Like I buy my stuff here. I get my prescriptions here. I'm fine with that. I'm not driving 40 miles out of my way to get this. So we'll see how that works. But I just think that this is going to end poorly. 323-538-2423. At Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. All that being said, jobs.
The number of Americans filing for unemployment benefits for the first time last week was 373,000. That's a slight increase from the prior week. And while 1 week does not make a trend, economists are watching this metric closely for signs of health in the labor market. The number of jobs created last month was higher than expected, but there are still 14 million Americans who are unemployed compared to before the pandemic.
Yeah, and why this is important is if you start to look and see what's going on in certain areas, including the stock market, things of that nature, to some hesitation, worry of inflation. We're seeing gas prices go up. This is a real trend that's starting out. We talked about shrinkflation, where you're shrinkage, Jerry, where you're buying a box of cereal and it's not the same size box. And it's not the same amount of cereal, but you're paying more for it. All of these things over time add up. On top of that, you've got people that are dropping out of the job market. Some are doing it because, well, they feel like, you know what? I'm changing pace. I want to do something different. We talked yesterday about the great resignation that's happening. People are leaving their jobs, but a lot of the people who are leaving their jobs are in positions that a lot of people aren't in, because the industries they're in, good times or bad times, they've got opportunities. Some of those people don't have those kind of opportunities. But if you're a coder right now, so you're in the IT world, you're a coder, you're a gaming app developer, you're all of these things. You work with AI, you're just whatever you do in that world. You're always working. So there's that opportunity to that. But for a lot of other people, this is a great time. Even if you're just looking for a run-of-the-mill job, because people are desperate to hire. They're desperate. There's a need for people in the service industry, but in other industries as well. Out here where I live, Lucent is hiring. I think they're paying like $20 an hour. And I think they're going to send you to like a school, and you do like this 60 hours of training that is also test, and then decide where you're going to go once they hire you. And it's like $6,000 for them to do this. But you start at like $19 an hour. You go up to like 25 or 30 to start, depending on what your capabilities are and what they're looking for. But they're always hiring, and they can't find anybody that wants to work. I mean, why is that? It's not like, well, you're not getting paid a living wage. It's no. And some of it's also the fact that some of the people that are out there just, well, you know it. You and I both know it. There's a lot of people out there that are working jobs, and you're thinking to yourself, oh, my God, you're so stupid. You get that. You do. I think we all get that. But now is the time. And jobs, this is one of the economy things. I look at two things. When I look at the economy, jobs is one, creation is one. I'm not big on that. I look at consumer index as far as whether or not we feel like we're happy and we're spending money. That really tells me a lot, because if we believe that the marketplace is stable, then we're going to spend money. And in spending money, we energize the economy. If we have confidence in the economy, that is a great, great indicator. And then I look at certain funds and indexes to see what they're doing with their money. Right now, though, according to a Gallup poll, 60% of Americans almost. I think it's like 59.4% of Americans, or 59.2% of Americans feel that they're thriving, that life is good. It's higher than whenever Trump was in there, right? It's higher than when Barack Obama, because we've come out the other side of a pandemic. Things are good. We have a plethora of vaccines. We seem to have put the worst part of this behind us. There are jobs available. People who are working, they feel like they're in the catbird seat at this moment in time. And I think that's very true. But these are indicators you need to look at. And the inflation thing is very real. That's one of those things that, especially with the amount of money that they want to print, the things that they want to do, case in point, he's out there pitching his family plan. So there's 2 infrastructure, wink, wink, family plans is one of them. The first one's bipartisan. And this is where, it sounds great. We're all doing something together. And I get that. There are things that everybody should be doing bipartisanly to bring certain things. Other things like this, the family side of it, the amount of money they want to spend, and the fact that there will be 0 Republicans involved in this, and essentially the Republicans are getting taken for a ride. You should be a little worried about this.
What I want to talk about today is human infrastructure. Truly win the 21st century and once again lead the world, we need to invest in our people. That's why, in addition to the bipartisan infrastructure agreement, I'm here to make a case for the second critical part of my domestic agenda, not included in the bipartisan infrastructure plan. In Washington, they call it a reconciliation bill. That's a fancy way of saying, with a filibuster that our friends on the other side use constantly, more than ever been used in history. It means you got to get 60 votes to get anything done.
Yeah. That's so the party that's not in power has some control, so the other party doesn't run them out. And this is what they're going to do. This is the plan that the Democrats have, and there's not a lot the Republicans are going to be able to do. So not only did you give too much at the end of the day, and this is where the Republicans have to stand up and say, well, hold on a second. I had no idea that you were going to roll out with this. That wasn't our deal, that you were going to come back behind us and get everything you wanted in a way that really is absolute crap. But the more money we print, the more we throw at certain things, it's a house of cards ready to fall over. And that is a big potential right there. And yeah, I do think that they're going to do the roundabout way of getting 0 Republicans in on it, blowing through all the filibuster and everything with the reconciliation, and the Republicans having no support for it. If it's worth being passed, then it's worth being bipartisan. But if you go and do that, what ends up happening? You're going to be in a situation where you're not going to have all the stuff you want in the first one. And this is them trying to get everything at all cost.
I don't think we've had a bigger difference of opinion between the two parties over the best thing to do for America than we have right now. This is going to be a hell of a fight over what this country ought to look like in the future.
Yeah, Mitch McConnell. And we'll see what that looks like. But know this, too. You still have to get to a point where you've got a few Democrats you're going to have to, Kyrsten Sinema, Manchin, that you may really need to get on board. And I think they're leaning that way. But the second thing is you also know when you do something like this, how does it look? Because at the end of the day, optics is huge in politics. And if the Republicans sell it right, it's going to be one-party rule. What happens then? Come midterms next year, some of these people will pay by losing their seats. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Rough Greens makes any pet food better. It does. It absolutely does. And I love my Rough Greens. You take Rough Greens? No, but I give it to my dog Doodle. My dog Doodle, who we took to the vet a lot because of his bad hips and a lot of the medical issues was happening to him. We don't do that anymore. He started taking Canine VitaSmart from Rough Greens, and we started just sprinkling it on his dog's food, and that's all it is, a supplement. Next thing you know, he started feeling better. He started being more active. He started jumping. He started doing things he hasn't done in forever. He was chasing the cats last night. It was hilarious. By the way, he's not going to catch it. The cat laid there. I don't know if he could catch it, but it was just fun to watch. And it's because this has really transformed his life. We give it to our puppies. It's awesome. Right now is your chance to try Canine Vita Smart from Rough Greens. Absolutely free. You cover the shipping. They're going to send it to you for free. That simple. All right? RUFFgreens.com/Chad. Roughgreens.com/Chad. Or call 833-MyDog77. 833-MyDog77. You cover the shipping. You get a bag for free. Rough Greens makes any pet food better. Chad Benson Show.
Warning, no snowflake zone. Uninformed opinions are in danger of melting. The Chad Benson Show.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0, ignition, liftoff.
Now it's time to find out what's trending. What's trending? Yeah, what does that mean? I mean something, right? Like it's trending on the old internet. What's trending? Let us take a peek, find out what's trending upon the internet, shall we? I think we shall. We'll start over in Google. Haiti. The president was assassinated yesterday. Jovenel Moïse was killed at his home, along with his wife. 4 suspects have been killed. A couple have been taken into custody. People said they were speaking Spanish, some English. They had DEA badges, but they weren't DEA. They were fake. Nobody's sure what took place, but obviously there was a president. I was trying to explain to people this. There was a president assassinated. So the leader of a country was assassinated. And this is a country that's not too far from our doorsteps, where over the last several months we've extended the stay here for people who have left Haiti so they can legally stay here. And don't be surprised if this is going to cause even more turmoil. Roger Federer, 8-time Wimbledon champ, says he's unsure if he's coming back to play again. I think he's getting toward that time in his life where it takes a lot out of you. And he might be looking at the other side of things. Tampa Bay Lightning last night won the Stanley Cup, second time in a row. They have won the cup. They won it last year. Difference was last year was in a bubble. They celebrated by themselves. This year was in front of about 18,000 fans in Tampa, and it was awesome. Sha'Carri Richardson, people are still upset. She will not compete in the Tokyo Olympics, which, to be honest with you, Sha'Carri, if you're going to miss one, this would be the one. And she's only 21. She's got a lot of Olympics left in her. Still think what happened to her, it's the rules, but they got to relook at some of these things. And if what comes out of it is the fact that, okay, she smoked a little weed, but this is an anabolic steroids. And they say they're going to look at it and changing the rule potentially, which I think is good. Marjorie Taylor Greene is at it again. She said and tweeted out, Biden pushing a vaccine that is not FDA approved shows COVID is a political tool used to control the people. People have a choice. They don't need your medical brown shirt showing up at their door ordering vaccinations. You can't force people to be part of the human experiment. Everybody's like, you need to expel her. And I'm just like, really? I mean, I don't care if you do or don't. She's awful. She is, but I don't even think she buys 90% of it. But a lot of people, even on the Republican side, says, look, she's in it for the fame. She's enjoying all this kind of stuff. She is this version of the squad on the right. Her and the Matt Gaetz and everything like that. And the media makes it out to be like, oh, she's just super influential. Most people have no idea who she is. Most people have zero idea. The brown shirts. They're coming to your door. Chad Benson Show.
The Chad Benson Show.
Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
You've got the vaccinated people where the vaccine really works well in keeping people out of the hospital. It may be reduced a little bit as far as getting infected, but it really does amazingly in keeping you out of the hospital. For the unvaccinated, it's really a problem. You're likely, if you get infected, increased likelihood of spreading it to other people and potentially an increased likelihood of getting hospitalized.
Yeah. We're living in two countries, as Dr. Ellerin would say. Two countries. We have a vaccinated country and the unvaccinated country. Yeah, I guess in some way that's kind of what we're living in. Totally get that. But we give people choice. And if people choose not to, see, this is the way I look at it. If you choose not to take it, for whatever reason, I'm fine with that. I've been vaccinated. I've also had it, so I'm moving on with my life. And for some people out there, I'd never take it. Well, that's fine. And you don't have to. You shouldn't have to be forced to take the damn thing. And that is your choice. Now, if you're not taking it because you think you're going to become magnetized or something, well, you know what? I have, just like you could say, oh, you're an idiot for taking it and you're a human experiment. I could look at you and say, you're an idiot. And I've taken it. Why aren't I magnetized? Because if somebody told me I could be a superhero, well, it's not the same thing. Well, I'm getting magnetized. So the only parlor trick is I have to stand by a 5G tower. And that's the way it's going to work? Well, no, but, But we are living in two different worlds. And I continue to say this. Experience is the teacher of all. Right? That is the ultimate teacher, is experience. So some people will get this and they'll get really sick. And some people may die. And that's a horrible thing. And 99% of people aren't going to. But we should have choice in this country. I'm always curious why people don't want to take a vaccine. Well, because it's so brand new. It's so this, it's so that. Some of those arguments right there of why people aren't taking it. It's always funny is a lot of people say, well, a lot of people aren't taking it because they want to wait and see. Yeah, but their argument is they're cautious. For other people, their argument is you're going to be controlled by the government, right? Like somehow you're a Manchurian candidate. Somehow, like that's their argument, and you can't, they'll always find up a new excuse of why they're not going to do something or why they believe certain things. Like the preacher who goes out and buys a billboard in Times Square saying the end of the world, according to him, because he's read the Bible and he's gone through the tabulations and the whole 9 yards, is coming on August 12th, and it was 1999 originally, and I got it wrong, and then it was 2004, and I got it wrong again. And you're just like, you can always find something. But as long as we have this situation, you're going to have places where this thing flares up. Plus, on the other side of that, even if we had a majority of Americans, young and old, vaccinated, this thing is spreading in certain areas so fast, and some of those people will come here eventually, and they'll be asymptomatic, and we'll never know it. Other parts of the world we're going to go to because we have business and stuff like that, and as travel opens up more, they're not vaccinated, and some people will get some breakthrough cases. We're not an island where we shut everything down. And we're even seeing, look what's happening in Japan, right? The Tokyo Games are going to have zero spectators. How many spectators? 0 spectators. So you waited an extra year thinking, well, we got to be out of this at the end of this, right? You waited an extra year. All of a sudden, it's your chance to show the world, because that's what you're doing. You spend all this money to show the world. And we've talked about it. If you've ever seen what these things cost, these Olympics, they're not free. They're not cheap. World Cups, Olympics, big sporting events like this, where you're bringing the world to your house, is expensive. It is very expensive. It's like an awful wedding that costs a lot of money. Right? And it's not even an open bar. Bridesmaids aren't very good looking. Mother-in-law's a pain in the ass already. It's like 3 days of doing crap. It's kind of what it's like, right? You're not getting your deposit back. The chicken was cold, wasn't even cooked. Her sister's fighting with you. They don't want your brother at the wedding. Like, that's kind of what the Olympics are. That's what it is. You spend a ton of money. They're having an emergency. They're on an island. Right? Like there's so when you go and look at like Australia, New Zealand, they don't have big breakout cases. They shut everything down really quick, and they have very little vaccines that have been administered the way, you would think both countries like those who are out there, but their whole thought process is they're doing it their way, but they're able to shut things down. Even in Japan, that's not true. And I think, quite frankly, I'm going to be honest, I think Japan lied a lot about the spread there over the last several months because the fear of the games not going on. There's no deposit getting back, right? Like so you're going through with the wedding because we spent too much money and there's going to be a divorce. It's coming. There's nothing else. You weren't really happy. You were unsure about that. I don't know if the baby's mine. And so you're going through with it. And so they're going through with this damn thing. There's no getting their deposit back. And this is costing them billions of dollars. Prime Minister spoke today about the fact that they had to declare an emergency today. Oh my God, we're so screwed. We're effing screwed. We're screwed. Oh, I can't. Oh my God. Oh, God, son of a. Sucks. I hope Godzilla shows up. By the way, just to let you know, $26 billion and rising. That's the cost of the Olympics so far. By the time everything's said and done, it'll be a 30 or 40 billion. Sponsors are pulling out left, right, and center. This is a massive disaster. And now you're going to have zero. Because the thought was we're going to have some spectators, right? They're only going to be people that have been vaccinated. They're going to be at the games, and they're going to be vaccinated, but they're only going to be Japanese. And now, no spectators. And this is the last moment. This is a disaster. This is an awful, I would say, look, can't we bring it back and why don't we just cancel this one and we'll bring it back in 6 years and put it here, or have a special one, 2 years after the next one, something like that. I don't know, but this is a disaster. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Tweet at us. Cancel culture sucks. We know that. It was interesting. Conan O'Brien, went off. He got canceled the old-fashioned way, just by not doing a great show. I liked Conan. I liked Conan later at night. I think after the debacle with the Tonight Show, which and they screwed him over on that. It was never the same. But he sat down with Brad Pitt and not Brad Pitt, but Sean Penn, and they were chatting about stuff. But I love what he says here about the news, covering the news.
That means sometimes there are times where the news is such that I feel like my comedy can't almost have anything to do with it. And some people might say, well, that's a cop-out. You should make your comedy about what's happening right now. And I think I just don't have that ability. There are times where it's embarrassing to be in show business.
Yeah, absolutely. There are. Well, they got on to a lot of topics, and one of the topics that's been talked about a lot, and it's funny because I've done voices for a long time. You guys know that, and you hear me goof around. But when I sit down and actually do stuff, I've done a lot of different things. I was telling the guys I did a documentary read thing several years ago, and it was for this African company, and the guy's like, can you do a voice, an African voice? I'm like, well, what do you know? And so I threw a couple things out there, and they had me do it. On top of the fact that I did the read for the whole other thing, and it was so weird, right? But I'm like, okay, you know what? You're just playing a part. And Sean Penn started talking about this because we're at that point now where, like, we're getting rid of cartoon characters and people have done them because, well, they deem it to be offensive, right? Like, you're a cartoon, right? Like, that's what you are. You're not real. The Consuela, no, she's not real. It's not a real person. Cleveland Brown, it's not a real human. Well, somebody play. Of course somebody plays him, right? Somebody also plays Bart Simpson. Who? A female plays Bart Simpson. Should we say that should be like a 7-year-old boy or whatever he's supposed to be? No. But Sean Penn started talking about stuff, and Hamlet came up.
I've seen documentaries about Harvey Milk in that era.
But today, almost certainly I would not be permitted to be cast in that role. We're living in a time where if you're playing a gay lead character, you would have to be a gay man or a trans character. And there have been these casting issues. It does go back to, again, finding the balance when you have a period of evolution that poured it. And yet, in this pendulum swing society that we're in, you wonder at some point if only Danish princes can play Hamlet.
Right. And that's insane, right? I mean, you know, he won an Academy Award for Harvey Milk. What's her name? Hilary Swank. She got an Academy Award for Boys Don't Cry and for playing a trans. I mean, all of these things, you go and you look and you're like, that's the whole thing. Then they got onto cancel culture. And it was very interesting because I think more and more thought-provoking people who have lived in the edge of anger and you know, but also lived in that Gen X generation of, you know, yeah, you can be a Richard, but at the same time, people can be like, ah, you know what? It's, yeah, forgiven. We're moving on with our life. They're even worried about it.
Empathy is a very important word, and also forgiveness. The whole concept of cancel culture is we found that someone did something in 1979 that is now not appropriate. They're dead to us. And I think...
Yeah, it's ludicrous.
What happened to, let's talk about that now, but people can also be forgiven if they even need forgiving. But what happened to that? What happened, you know, why are we, it almost feels very Soviet kind of sometimes.
That's scary. Soviet. Yeah, it does. It feels very Soviet at times. And it sounds weird, but, you know, it's like always like it's an if, but, you know, when kind of thing for people. And that's you know, like people ask me all the time, why aren't I more active sometimes on my social media? And I'm just like, you know, the problem is it is a minefield anymore. And that's why you're seeing more and more people who have the platform and the audience go, you know what, I'm not going to do stuff here. I'm doing everything behind a paywall. I don't want to deal with clients. I don't want to deal with advertisers. I don't want to be in a situation where people are like, well, I'm going to attack you the best way that we think we know how because we didn't like something you say, so we're going to go after your advertisers, which will essentially cost you your living and livelihood, where you go, you know what, I'm building up an audience and they're going to pay me X amount of dollars a month. I'm free to kind of say what I want to say, even if it's a joke. And if it's taken out of character, you can come attack me and say you're going to cancel me, but I'm on a subscription basis. And these are my fans and they're paying me X amount of dollars a month. And there is no canceling advertisers if I don't have any. So they're trying to take the power back. And I think it's good.
We're all sort of burdened with the energy and concern of optics. Yet maybe all it is, again, this cyclic thing where it's time for actors, comedians, where we have to say, hey, this moment isn't our turn.
Right.
That the playing field will level and that there'll be more freedom as long as it is coming out of an understanding and empathy, a solidarity, that will have more of that freedom come back but that we'll be sharing that stage with more people who haven't had the opportunity before. That's the hope.
Yeah. The problem is it never works that way. Your hope is you want to share the stage with more people and you want to give them opportunity, which is fantastic. The difference is by giving up your power and taking other people's voices away, especially dissenting political voices and things like that, and thinking, well, once we get this thing equalized, everybody will get their guns back, if you will, their vocal guns, their mind guns, whatever you want to say. Doesn't work that way. And that's the sad thing. So we got to fight for things. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show's your Twitter. Raycon, best earbuds around, and the reason is simple. First of all, the price is amazing. Sound quality is incredible. 6 hours of talk time, seamless Bluetooth pairing, no stems, no wires, none of that junk. The reason, to me, is the noise isolating fit. And it's for all ears. They've got different gel tips that go inside, so you can get the one that fits your ear correctly. Because how often you just open up a box and you'll even spend a ton of money and it's basically one size fits all and you're like, it really doesn't. Not with Raycons. With Raycons, you can pick great colors. You've got the great charging case that gives you tons of hours of charge time. I mean, once you charge the case up, you're ready to go. You don't have to plug it back in. 24 hours of charge time. These are just some of the little things, but that noise isolating fit separates it all. Get your Raycons now. Save big. 45-day money-back guarantee. 1-year warranty. No matter what happens, if they break, send them in. They will send you a new pair. BuyRaycon.com/Chad. They start well under $100. Save an extra 15%. BuyRaycon.com/Chad. BuyRaycon.com/Chad. Chad Benson Show.
The Chad Benson Show, where we reach across the aisle and occasionally poke someone in the eye.
It's time for my UFO stuff.
Photo you see here behind me was sent in by Jeff. This is a screen grab from the International Space Station on July 3rd, 2021, 8:30 a.m. of 10 unknown objects traveling with the space station above planet Earth.
Above planet Earth. Chad, that's not real. We're talking, think about this. We're getting close to figuring something out. I don't know if it's people from another dimension or, people from far away in the way that we have no idea how they got here because we're living in, we're essentially Neanderthals in our thinking compared to them, or if these are just anomalies. I don't know. But there's something that, that's out there that we can't explain. That's for sure. Not everything is alien in nature. Not everything is actually unidentified flying object. But there's stuff that we should pay some attention to. This is Rep. Andre Carson, Democrat, Illinois.
What we do know is that there have been nearly 150 sightings. 80 of those sightings have been detected with some of the best technology the world has ever seen. We can't rule out something that's otherworldly. People want members of the government to say it's extraterrestrial. Certainly, it poses a technological concern for us, and it poses a national security concern for us. We don't want our adversaries to have a technological advance.
No, we don't. But it is, we're getting closer. But the story itself, you would think would be bigger because but is it the coronavirus? Are we just so jaded in life that we don't believe anything? Is it because they're feeding it to us inch by inch and then saying, well, hold on a second, they move back an inch, and then they give us another couple, 2, 3, 4 inches, and move back. I don't know why that we're not more vested in this. Or is it because the thought process of everybody being a conspiracy theorist about everything makes people go, well, I'm not going to talk about that. Have we scared ourselves and self-censored ourselves into not even if a UFO landed here, people are like, nope, not going to believe it. No, it's fake news. Chad Benson Show.
This is the Chad Benson Show. Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
The number of Americans filing for unemployment benefits for the first time last week was 373,000. That's a slight increase from the prior week. And while 1 week does not make a trend, economists are watching this metric closely for signs of health in the labor market. The number of jobs created last month was higher than expected, but there are still 14 million Americans who are unemployed compared to before the pandemic.
Jobs good, not working bad, right? We have jobs. People aren't working. People are worried about a lot of things, especially people who are sitting higher in the financial world. And I'm not just talking about because they make a lot of money. I'm talking about people that look at the economy and realize as that goes, so goes the happiness of us. Right now, we're sitting at our happiest that we have sat maybe in, I can't even remember when we've been this happy. I cannot remember. How happy? Well, taking a look here. According to Gallup poll, almost 60% of us believe we're in a great place and we are thriving. Our satisfaction in life is pretty darn good. Jobs are a huge thing. If you're working, you're happy. Well, if I hate my job, yes, but as long as you're making money, right, you're able to cover your bills. I can't cover my bills. Why can't you cover your bills? It's always that, like, oh, well, you know, it's because of, I mean, is it too big, right? Is it you're as far as like, oh, my bills are too big and I'm not making enough? Or is it because some other reason? You're overspending. But in the satisfaction side of things, we're sitting pretty good. Higher than Obama, higher than Trump. No! Yes, it's true. It's true. I bring you news that you may not want to hear. Well, it's happier under Trump. Okay, that's fair. But that is good because we have jobs that are available. The economy's feeling like it's back. We're going to sporting events. We're going to movies. Concerts are back out there. We're back at living our life. Doesn't mean this thing's gone anywhere, but it hasn't. And, you know, I've said all along, the minute this thing becomes endemic instead of pandemic, meaning it's just kind of here, that, you know, Singapore's got the right idea. Look, we're not going to play this game anymore. We're going to treat it like the flu and move on with our lives. Learn to live with it, through it, around it, and eventually above it. That's what we need to do. But there's still a lot of people unemployed. Why are they unemployed? For some, it's, I'm afraid. Okay, some of that may be true. For others, I don't really like the job. It's available. I'm going back to school. I want to learn some other stuff. There's a few other reasons. And then, of course, there's the, hey, you know what? I'm comfortable. They're paying me money. I don't have to work at this point in time. For whatever reason you want to think that I don't want to work. But the market itself is available. It's there for the taking. If you want to work, it's there. If you don't want to work, well, you're an idiot, but there you go. As long as the government's going to pay you to stay home, why would you? Now, for some people, they look around and they say, hey, you know what? I'm making X amount of dollars a week with the help of the federal and the state. My daycare, the one I went to, is either closed permanently or it's just now open and I can't get my child in there. School's not there. But I always say, what would you do in normal time? What would you have been doing before this? But for some people, it's like, even if you make less, you save a lot more by not having to travel to work, by not having to do these things. It's crazy. It's like we're begging people to go back to work. I don't know if we should be doing that. There's still, God knows how many jobs available. 9.5 to 10 million. And you're always going to have a certain amount of fluctuation between employed and unemployed, right? That brings it to that near full employment. But I'm telling you guys right now, satisfaction levels there. People have smiles on their faces. I think a lot of people think this thing's truly behind us now. We're still living in a world of kind of two different Americas, which is the vaccinated America, the non-vaccinated America. It's real. I mean, whether people want to believe it or not. And it's, you know, we've touched on this yesterday. We talked about crime, right? You can say what you want. Well, crime is mostly blue states, in particular big blue dominated cities. What do you have? People who are pissed off, angry, frustrated, seeing their city have giant jumps in violence, in murders, in sexual assaults, in petty crime, businesses just saying we're just shutting down altogether. I mean, Target is closing at 6 o'clock. That's a liberal side of things. And many of them are just fully in denial. Oh, no. And then on the right side of the aisle, in a lot of these states where you're seeing coronavirus continuing to rise and they're continuing to say, well, they're not going to get the vaccine. They're in denial. But the reality is you should probably get the vaccine after you do your homework. That's real. And you guys need to be harder on crime. We're living in two kind of weird things in this country. But we have jobs available, and there is vaccines. And when you look around the world, with only 11% of the globe vaccinated, we're doing all right. There's a reason to have a smile on our face. Now, the worry of inflation is real. Look at the markets. They're a bit jittery because they're trying to figure out what's going on with the bipartisan bill that you guys did, but now you're going to want me to print some more money and do some human infrastructure. There's a lot of things going on out there. They're trying to get the feel of where this thing's going, and you do have rising cost of life that at times, yes, it's natural. You're going to get that, but some of this is man-made stupidity, overprinting of money. So we'll be very interested to see where this heads. But I think most of you will probably agree, because I talked to a lot of you. Life's pretty good. You got a little bit of a smile on your face. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Tweet at us. Text the program. Love hearing from you. The Haitian president yesterday, I was trying to explain to my other partner, we do show locally here in Phoenix, and so we were chatting about, like, I'm like, dude, you realize, like, this was an assassination of a somewhat sitting president who had some issues as well. Let's be real, it's Haiti. People were asking, hey, dude, weren't you supposed to leave a while ago? There's supposed to be elections coming up. And then Yovel Moises was murdered yesterday, and the whole thought of how and what ended up happening, and these guys supposedly spoke Spanish, but they had DEA badges, but they weren't really DEA badges. It was like, it's crazy. And then there was a shootout, and they killed some of the suspects.
Haitian Police General Director Leon Charles saying, as well as the 4 killed, 2 others had been captured in a house that had been surrounded. Security forces, he says, were involved in a fierce gun battle with the suspects. 3 officers reportedly held hostage by the gunmen have also been freed.
Yeah. Maybe they'll find out some stuff. But the more I've read about this, the more that I have looked at this, and again, listen to how they presented themselves.
They are speaking Spanish, and they presented themselves as DEA agents. And as we know, this is not the way DEA operates. And Haiti, whenever there is an operation, it's well planned with the U.S. Embassy, the Haitian police.
Yeah, this is it's an ugly situation. So they went in there at night. They killed him. They shot his wife. She is, I guess, improving. But they're saying they're mercenaries and trained assassins. And not that, like, guy that you'd get out of Soldier of Fortune back in the 80s. Thinks he's a hitman. Like, these guys were, and the only thing that came to my mind is, you piss somebody off in South America. And usually that means what? Drugs. Not that he was or wasn't, but you do have to ask the question. Don't you? I mean, you're not too far from Nicaragua back in the day. Let's be real. You had you had the whole Contra thing. You look around and you think to yourself, well, what does that have to do? Well, you get sent. He says Contras. People are dropping, they're picking up cocaine here and they're dropping it here. Then they're picking up guns and they're bringing it back. And you've got Noriega. It's a fair question to ask. I mean, I'm always intrigued by stuff like this because I find it to be there's a sitting leader of a country, even though the country's Haiti. But how this affects us is have just extended another 18 months for people that are here who have escaped Haiti. And they're finding more and more people are coming from 2 places that are traveling through the triangle and getting here through Mexico. Venezuelans and Haitians. You think that's going to stop now? I don't think so. So these are questions to be asked. And with an already unpleasant border situation, and now a country that is always in turmoil. By the way, we were talking about this other ways. Like, the Dominican Republic is rarely, if ever, in turmoil. Make great baseball players. Seems to be, okay comparatively to the other half, which is always in turmoil. Always. And I would not be surprised if you see what takes place, because they're taking very big interest in this, in the U.S. side of things, especially in the upper government, about how this happened, especially with them pretending to be DEA agents. But what if it was a cartel that took out a sitting president in another country. Because you go back to Pablo Escobar. I mean, I think at one time there was I don't know how many. He killed half of the people that were running for president. All the ones who were in favor of him being extradited to the U.S., he killed. So, yeah, and not that this guy's a Pablo, whoever this could potentially be. It's something to think about. 323-538-2423. At Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Tweet at us. Text the program. MyPillow. Yes, they have pillows. They've got everything over at MyPillow. They got slippers, pillows. They got mattress toppers, all of this stuff. They also have sheets. The best sheets in the world. They're called Giza Dream Sheets. Made from long staple cotton. It's ultra soft. It's breathable. You're going to sleep cool. It's the best cotton in the world, so you're sliding in to what really should be happiness and peace when you're getting ready to take a nice night's rest. Right now, you buy one set, get another set free. Why this cotton is so amazing is because it's grown in one region between Sahara Desert, Mediterranean Sea, and the Nile River. Makes it breathable, makes it soft, makes it incredible. Right now, you buy a set, get a set for free. Boom. Bam. Buy one set, get a set for free. 60-day money-back guarantee, 1-year limited warranty. Go to MyPillow.com. The promo code is Benson. MyPillow.com, promo code Benson, or call 800-983-4975. Different colors, different sizes, machine washable, 6-day money-back guarantee. Buy one set, get another set free. MyPillow.com, promo code Benson. Chad Benson Show.
I can't take it anymore!
Well, get over it. It's time to forge a new path with your very own political cartographer, Chad.
What I want to talk about today is the human infrastructure. Truly win the 21st century and once again lead the world, we need to invest in our people. That's why, in addition to the bipartisan infrastructure agreement, I'm here to make a case for the second critical part of my domestic agenda, not included in the bipartisan infrastructure plan. In Washington, they call it a reconciliation bill. That's a fancy way of saying, with a filibuster that our friends on the other side use constantly, more than ever been used in history. It means you got to get 60 votes to get anything done.
Biden pitching his infrastructure bill. So there's two infrastructures. You got the infrastructure bill that's bipartisan, which means, hey, we're going to spend all your money. And we're all happy to do it because we're all getting something. But even some people, especially Republicans, are like, well, hold on a second. There's so much pork in this, and it's ridiculous. So why don't we roll some of that stuff back? And the Democrats are like, no, we need it all because we're going to put all this stuff together. It's going to be $18 trillion. This is going to be fantastic. We're going to give everything to everybody ever, and we're going to take it from this group of people over here. And that group of people's like, oh, yeah. You got a lot of people in the middle like, don't do that because you're going to hurt those people. Those people aren't paying taxes. Corporate tax side of things. I always said the personal tax, if I was Trump, I'd never raise that. I was like, I'm leaving it where it's at. We're going to lower the corporate tax rate to what it currently is to be competitive around the world. But when it comes to the personal tax rate, the people like that who make that, they're not getting paychecks like regular people. Right? So it's like they've got so many write-offs. And that's where this battle went. They're like, oh, no, we're going to do it. We're going to raise the gasoline tax, which disproportionately hurts people. And when you've got rising taxes, when you got rising prices, that's always not a win. And the people say, well, hold on a second. It hurts, if you're making, $200,000 a year, that may not bug you if they raised, the gasoline tax X amount of dollars or cents, which is X amount of dollars per fill up. But if you're living at that, getting by line, it's a worry, right? So that bill right there, that's the one where Republicans are like, we could do some of that because some of that's really good. And we agree with some of this. We're going to bring some of the stuff back to our states. It'll be great. Then there's a bill behind it, which is the human infrastructure bill that he's talking about.
That's why I want to guarantee an additional 4 years of public education for every person in America, starting with providing 2 years of universal preschool for 3- and 4-year-olds. And then I want to add 2 years of free community college. My plan will also do more to invest in high-quality job training and apprenticeships in fast-growing sectors like public health, childcare, manufacturing, information, technology, clean energy, so that all Americans can get the skills that employers want that lead to good middle class and, I make no apology, union jobs.
There's a lot of other crap in there. There is. And this is the thing where, like, the Republicans should go, hold on a second. We agreed on this. And you had all the stuff in this one. Now you split it in two and you said, well, this one looks great, but this one we're going to do behind your back. And we're going to do it without any bipartisan support. And find the Republicans, this is when I stand back altogether and say, oh, no. No, no, no. I don't know if they have the guts to do that, but this is why he wants to get rid of the filibuster. This is why people should stand up and say that cannot happen, even if you're a Democrat, even if you're frustrated. But they're going to do this through reconciliation, which they'll get this passed. So essentially, they got everything, and the Republicans, well, they didn't get anything. And if that happens, this is where you, as a Republican, need to sell yourself as this is why one-party rule sucks. You better give us back the House and the Senate. Chad Benson Show.
The Chad Benson Show.
Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
Follow the money, baby. Follow the money. Robin DiAngelo, who, of course, gave us basically the wokest thing ever, White Fragility, has a new book out. And takes on nice racism. So she's the one that, for those of you who don't know, she really pushed in the forefront. So you have people of color, right? So you have, let's be real. This isn't about Asians, and it's not about Latin people. It's not about people from Mexico and so. The debate of racism is a black and white thing, by and large. But Chad, people can dislike Asian people. So we're not talking about that. Let's just put it out there so we can stop pretending. So she's the lady who wrote the book White Fragility. That. Essentially, I'm going to paraphrase. She went to a company picnic, and she was put with people of color, and she didn't really want to be, and she got upset. And then she thought, well, everybody must be racist. It's like, it's not really what it is. I'm just joking, but it's not too far away from the book. I've read it, and I've also got it on my Audible. She's got a new book, though, White Fragility. Why it's hard for white people to talk about racism, right? That was the big one, and so she got a new book out. So that book sold like 1 million copies, that White Fragility. Oh, my goodness me. This one sold 3,500 copies this week. So Bridget Fetzi, who we've had on the show many times, she said, obviously it's racism. Obviously. It is. There's only so many times you go back to the well, right? But the money's big. Follow the money. Follow the money. You follow the money, you will find out that the perpetrators of race baiting are laughing all the way to the trough of profit. And it's in, by the way, black and white. That's the one thing they can all agree on. This money is great. It's great. They all agree on the green. Oh, they love it. They love it. Because that's, again, you find the boogeyman. Whatever that is, racism. That's it. And the number one threat to America is white nationalism. I'm like, really? Is that the number one threat to America? Honestly. Yeah, Chad, it totally is. Okay, tell me why. Explain to me why that's the number one threat. Explain to me how that is the number one threat to America. For real. Be honest. The coronavirus wasn't the number one threat? Well, you know what I mean. No, I'm just, tell me. I mean, if hold a Klan meeting today and a march outside. See how many people show up. Remember that idiot the other day? That absolute asshat in Philly that got into it with his neighbor and then dropped a bunch of horrible N-bombs, I think, and just it just was a clown of epic proportion. Remember that cat? Well, yeah. How many people showed up at his house to protest because he gave out his address? He's like, I can't believe people showed up. Like, again, not familiar with the internet. But that new book, she's taking on nice racism. What the hell's nice racism? Well, it's nice. What it is essentially is like they went after Rachel Nichols. Like, this is what she's like behind the scenes. In front of it, she's nice and she says all the right things, but behind the scenes, she's really that Rachel Nichols thing was so blown out of proportion. It was so ridiculous. I don't think she did anything wrong, unless there's something I'm missing, right? Which may be true. Maybe she drops the N-bomb all the time and she talks about, that they should bring slavery back, and or maybe she was a woman who was a journalist and busted her ass to get to the point that she at and felt like she was being replaced, and she wanted to fight for a gig and thought it was a bunch of crap. That's also a possibility. But you follow the money, and there's big money in racism. Who would have thought that, right? In today's world, there's big money in racism. It's like the climate change, right? There's big money in climate change. Because if everything's perfect, what do people who profit off of fear do? Honestly. I mean, even with the crazy QAnon people, you don't think somebody's making money out there? Of course somebody's making money somewhere. They're raising money to fight this. They're raising money to do that. Of course there is. Absolutely. Just like Trump's an industry himself, right? Whether you love him or hate him. What's going on here? The audit, which at this point in time nobody cares about because the Suns are in the NBA championship and they've not been there since 1993 when the Bulls whooped up on them. And they probably will win this. And people here are like, we don't care about the audit anymore. We've moved on. We've come together for something greater, which is a chance to win an NBA championship. But even that, it's great for both sides. The lady that was the head, Kathy Hobbs, she was the lady that ran, Katie Hobbs, she ran the election. She's now running for governor. She's brought in a ton of money. It's the greatest thing that's ever happened to her. The fact that they've come out and audited and she's become the face of dissent against that. And the people that are part of the audit, they'd like to see this thing go on for as long as possible because they're raising money off OAN. Find out where there's some sort of anger and division. It used to be when I was a kid growing up, because I've always been entrepreneurial. And what was the whole thought process? Find a need that people have. Fix that need for them. Now, find a place where there's a division, choose a side, and exploit the hell out of it. That's the world we live in. And it's sad. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show's your Twitter. Tweet at us. Text said program. The future. How do we do when it comes to predictions of things like clothes and doctors and the futuristic things that we live with on a day-to-day basis? Let's find out, shall we?
Greetings, 20th century people. I'm wearing part of the gear of the future. It may look like today's, but it's not what it seems. The suit is chemically treated to make it thermosensitive. It absorbs heat when you're hot, thus cooling you down, and releases it again when you're cold, so you maintain a constant temperature. Well, I don't have much in my pockets. A few smart cards, holograms of my family, And we've finally solved the problem of lost keys. Don't have any in the first place. Each unique fingertip opens all the different doors in my life when I press them against pattern recognition pads.
That's interesting, right? So fingertips to replace keys, that's a possibility. These are some of the clothes of the future, some of the predictions that were made over 3 decades ago. Some of that's real. Some of that's very real. Like when I go to my car right now, I don't even have a key. I just have to, if I don't chirp it, but I've got my key in my pocket, I can just, I'm close enough, hit with my finger, boom, door opens up. That's a good prediction. Flying cars, not quite here. And I think we've all realized, too, over the last 30 years, what we thought would be neat as far as like the Jetsons and stuff went, the reality is I'm not quite sure that people should be flying in the air with their vehicles.
I also carry my doctor round with me. A tiny biosensor under my tongue analyzes chemical changes in my saliva and radios any changes that I ought to know about to my tie, which changes colour so I can intercept most illnesses before they become a problem.
Are we close there? Oh, yeah, we're very close on that one. Not so much with the tie, because nobody wearing a tie anymore. What you wearing a tie for? What are you, some big shot? Huh? What are you, some middle management? But that's real, though. We're, like, close to that. I mean, you can do just about everything. My watch right now, and, like, Apple, they've got super watches that's all geared towards blood pressure, and things are moving more and more that direction. That's pretty real. Not quite at that point yet, but I think we're closer than people realize. Now, this was as spot on as you'll get in prediction.
I carry my office round with me as well. Now, this isn't just a watch or just a TV phone. It's also satellite connected, so I can receive information, any information I want, from any computer I have access to around the world. And I carry a printer for that information in my briefcase, so that when I get a message, it all prints out like that.
Yeah. No, in fact, that was spot on, except for the fact that we don't print anything anymore. Not too much. But how spot on was some of those things? Like, very much so. And that's why I'm interested to see where we're going in the future. I always said, look, you got the vaccine? Of course I got the vaccine. Once I talked to people who were doctors, got the lowdown, wasn't too worried about it, did my own research. But you guys know me. Like, I'm, by nature, I'm a little bit of, I'll try something. And Elon Musk, I'm telling you guys, I will be the first to go, all right, let's do this. Let's try it. Let's try it. What are we going to do? How about downloading your brain?
One day, you could have superhuman vision. Play your favorite albums in your head and download your brain to a computer or even to another body.
Oh, it's alive! It's alive! It's alive!
Though this may sound like an episode of your favorite science fiction show, Elon Musk and his team at the neural tech startup Neuralink believe that their electronic brain-computer interfaces could make this possible.
Yeah. 2014, Johnny Depp did a movie called Transcendence or whatever, and essentially he was like an artificial intelligence guy. He was like the smartest guy in the world about this, and his whole thing was he wanted to create the merging of computers and the whole 9 yards. This is like, this stuff's going to happen. It's first going to happen with people who have ALS, Parkinson's disease. They're working on stuff like that. This other stuff that's coming, the science fiction-y stuff, that I think will happen in my lifetime, but it'll be interesting to see. And everybody's like, would you do something like that? I mean, hell yeah. Like, why? Yeah, totally. And I think the computer consciousness into brains thing that might be very, very real. Like 30 years ago, I don't know if you remember this, Producer Phil, there used to be a thing where you could go in and people that were dying, or even people that were, that would have their kids and their grandkids, and they'd go in and leave messages for them so their kids and grandkids could look at them in the future, advice about this, that, and the other. That stuff's going to be right there, right now. That's huge.
Described as
a Fitbit in your skull with tiny wires.
The small, easy-to-install brain-computer interface could be used to expand the capabilities of humans, changing the way we interact with technology. Musk has been very vocal about his fear of artificial intelligence, believing AI could one day overshadow the human race. Musk's inevitable transhumanist goal of augmenting intelligence and abilities may be necessary if we are to compete with advanced artificial intelligence.
Yeah. We may have no choice if we're going to fight them, because just in case they become Skynet.
However, Neuralink's team still has a long way to go before the emergence of AI-human hybrids. The tech company still has a lot of bureaucratic, ethical, and technological hurdles to cross.
One of the reasons I think he wants to get to space fast. It's like, all right, we're in an area where nobody can mess with us. We can do what we want. 323-538-2423. At Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Tweet at us, text the program. We have a lady who hates her job, or she loves her job. Either way, she's hilarious. And if we have a chance, we're going to get to a lawsuit about nothing. Literally nothing. Chad Benson Show.
I'm so tired. I'm exhausted.
If you're part of the politically exhausted majority, don't fear. Your time to be validated and rejuvenated is here. Wake up. It's the Chad Benson Show.
I was talking to the guys, Joe Rogan had it on Jacob Dylan yesterday. We were just talking about some of the neat stuff he was talking about, like when he met Prince. He was at dinner one night and he said, this guy comes over to me and goes, hey, Prince wants to meet you. And he goes, I got to the table and it was Prince. He goes, I thought it was Prince William, because he goes, that was more believable. But Spotify people are outraged again because, because Joe Rogan doesn't give a rat's ass. There was an article this past weekend, and I think it was New York Times, like, is he uncancelable? I should hope everybody in some way, shape, or form is somewhat uncancelable. But the fact that you would ask that question, stop your bitching. Oh, my God, he offends me. I'm personally bothered by his transphobic comments, and I'm concerned with the way he might spread misinformation. Work somewhere else. You don't want to be there? Get a new gig. You're unhappy there? Get a new gig. Should be that simple, right? Last year, Jordan Peterson is finishing up his new book to come out in Penguin Publishing. They wanted them not to publish his book. Because why? Because you're offended? Stop being offended. Don't read the damn book. My God, what is wrong with people? Look, if you're going to be pissed, at least do your job.
Welcome to this guided tour of Auchtenmuir Distillery. Whiskey. It's Irish. Our whiskey is unique and noted for its peaty flavours, which is another way of saying it tastes like mud. We have been distilling whiskey here for hundreds of years because, as I'm sure you could tell when you arrived this morning, there's absolutely all else to do round here.
She's not happy with her gig, but she's showing up. This is a woman works at a distillery in Scotland, and you go there. It's kind of like a wine tasting tour, and people are laughing at, well, just how excited she is to work there and the honesty of which she brings the whiskey to life.
I'll be honest with you, I'm not much of a whiskey fan myself. And now the part of the tour I'm sure you've all anticipated. It's the sampling, so please take a wee glass, swill it round, give it a sniff, nod sagely like you know what you're talking about, pretend you like the taste, commit to buying a full-size bottle in the gift shop for £75. That bottle will then sit unopened in your house for the next 40 years because you paid £75 for it, so you're not drinking it.
I'm not really a fan of whiskey. That would so be me. What would you like? If I was a chef or like I worked at a big restaurant, like, what do you recommend tonight? Macaroni and cheese, but there's other things on the menu, and macaroni and cheese is not one of them.
That bottle will then sit unopened in your house for the next 40 years because you paid £75 for it, so you're not drinking it. It will then be inherited by your children, and they won't drink it either. It will then be found and ultimately thrown out by whichever person the government is charged with clearing out your child's house after they die, a hoarder surrounded by 40 cats.
I don't think she'd be offended by Joe Rogan. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. You can tweet, you can text, check out all the good stuff out there. We will do it again tomorrow. Oh, my goodness. Is that what I think it is? I see Friday. Night-night, Jack.
This is the Chad Benson Show.